Hi everybody, I'm Stacey with Stacey's Organizing and Decorating for Life, or StaceyForLife.com. I'm here to help you organize your thoughts and decorate your perspectives. So today we're going to talk about attention, or you could be like attention, either way. But most of the time it was attention, like this, because when I taught karate I would tell the kids attention, and we would talk about what the difference between discipline and self-discipline was. You know, that discipline is doing what you're asked when you're asked to do it. And that self-discipline is doing what needs to be done without having to be asked to do it. And so we're going to talk about self-discipline, and we're also going to talk about habits and willpower. So if you like that, that's our topic today. If you need some of that in your life today, please hit the like and subscribe button below. So I don't know where you all are standing in all of this right now. I know that some places are talking about opening back up right now. And it's my fear that we didn't learn what we needed to learn while we were going through this pause, you know, and I understand it can be very overwhelming when I go outside. You know, I do pretty good until I go out and then try to see what's going on in the world. I'm not really trying to see what's going on. I'm going to the grocery store. But I remembered a time when I went to the grocery store. I would go out maybe every 2 weeks, and when I went to the grocery store, now everybody has masks on, and I remember a time, God, only health professionals used to wear a mask, you know, and now everybody's wearing a mask. Also, you go in one door and out another door, and it seems like the rules change quite a bit, you know, as you go into the different phases. We're in phase 3 over here in Mexico. So I don't know what's happening this week. I haven't gone out since phase 2, so I don't even know. And I do well until then when I come in, I'm like, what the hell is going on out there? You know, so then I try to research and figure out there has to be something else going on for things to be this crazy, because I never imagined this kind of stuff being in this world like this today. But it is, and so we're in acceptance of that. And you know, when I try to figure it out, you know, is it conspiracy? Is it this? Is it that? You know, and I think that there's no one answer. I think that this is a domino effect. I don't know what the deal is, but I do know that Earth seems to be happier, that we're not polluting and going and doing a lot of things. The chemtrails aren't going on right now. The people aren't doing the tourism things to where they're going to another country and polluting another country, and you know, just like they do, because they have all this stuff available and they're, you know, to take care of their business in other countries. Say like here, we don't have the trash disposals, but people, you know, don't think about that. So I hope that we have a better consciousness. All that I'm saying is that I hope we have a better consciousness on how to treat the earth when we all come out of this. And I hope we have a better consciousness on how to treat our bodies. And I hope we have a better consciousness on how to treat our minds and our souls as well. So that's what I've been trying to share with you since we've done this. I shared the steps with you in the last 3 videos, you know, and the first video was like, that's what people do. And, you know, then last video was that, what are you doing, you know? So it's just taking a look at ourselves and what we can do to make this a better place, a better planet, and, you know, make our bodies better vessels and our, you know, better souls for ourselves and things like this. So we're going to talk about things that work with that, is self-discipline, the habits, you know, how a habit, self-discipline, habits, and then willpower, because it's my understanding willpower comes from an impulse. The impulse comes from, you know, some people have to activate their impulses. Some people, athletically, they have the willpower, you know, just to do it. But sometimes people need, I'm not athletic, so sometimes you need to activate an impulse, which would come about by you doing a habit, which is something that ends up, it starts off consciously, you know, that habits we think, I'm going to try this or do this, and then we do it, and then it becomes a habit. It may come an addiction, but anyway, it becomes a habit. And we're talking about healthy habits here on this end, is to develop a healthy habit. And even when I've given up certain addictions, what I always try to do is find something healthy to replace it with. So that's what we're going to talk about today, is how do you do that? How do you activate the impulse? And how do you get that consciousness going, you know, to do so? So what Will Smith says is, you know, I've watched videos, it's what you put in your mind, body, and soul. So what are you putting in your mind? Are you sitting around watching things that are, you know, that are sad and gloomy, that are about devastation and death and all of this, and that's just a part of life. I'm not saying that that's not, you know, a part of life, but are you watching it nonstop? Or are you getting a balance of what you put in your mind and your body and your soul? And that's all that this is about now, I think, is finding balance. If we can come out of this having learned some balance and some self-discipline and not just living life excessively, because I think that the reality is that what we can realize is I don't think we were being punished for it in any way. I think that it was just a consequence of our actions, is that many of us lived in excess before, and some people will return to living in excess. And that's my fear, is that, if you take away from this, not learning how to be good to yourself and the humanity and earth, I think that that's really what all of this could do for us on a positive level, is, develop us that way. So that's what I'm trying to do with the videos. And I'm kind of off today myself, but I'm still trying to help you, because we all have off days and better days, So I'm going to share with you before we go. Well, first I want to touch on one more thing. I'm going to talk about settling, because people settle. I think what we're realizing is that when we settle, and you know it more so now than ever, is because you're settling in relationships because you don't have self-discipline, you're not feeding a habit, and you're not going towards goals. So you settle relationships, you settle on what you eat, you settle on what you watch, you settle on, people just settle. Rather than just settling, I think this has also been a wake-up call about what do I actually want in my life? What is it that I want to be surrounded with, in case you're in another quarantine? Or what have you. How do you want that to affect your life? So those are things that we look at rather than just settling. And so you have the opportunity to change things and to give that some thought. So I'm going to share with you now what a Russian Jew named Nathan Shavansky, and I was watching the Swami videos and everything, and so he shared this story, and I wanted to share with you on what the magic of doing stuff on a daily repetitive basis can help you once you learn to pick up that good habit and then learn to get that will. Because if you don't do that good habit, you'll feel like you're missing something, just like the habit that you've maybe instilled that's bad, you feel like you're missing it or naked without it. And so that's the cool thing about developing the will for that. And so there was a Russian Jew named Nathan Shavansky, and he was living in communist Russia, and he was accused of being an American spy. So for 400 days, he was put in this cell that was a 4x3 cell. And in here, he could deteriorate mentally, physically, spiritually, and he could just mind, body, and soul deteriorate. So what he did, of course, was he worked out for his body in there. But how did he keep his mind well in there, And this video basically talks about the mind. And so what he did was he loved to play chess. So he would pretend he was playing chess with this other guy who was the chess player at that time, Garry Kasparov. I may or may not have said that right, Garry Kasparov. So he would pretend that he was playing chess with this guy and do that mentally. Now he was, like I said, in the hole, the 3x4 cell for 400 days, but then he was actually in prison for 12 years, and not until Bill Clinton came in and made the deal with Russia was he able to be released, where he went to the Israeli government and became a cabinet master. And guess what? This is 12 years later. Garry Kasparov comes in, and he's going to have challenged with 5 people, play chess with 5 people. And of course, 4 out of those 5 people lost to him, but 1 guy won. And you know who that was, right? Nathan Shavansky. And they asked, how did you beat him? He's the champion and everything. And that's because in a seemingly horrible circumstance, he kept his mind right by playing chess with him on an imaginary level. So what are you doing to keep your mind right, your body right, and your soul right? When I did my exercises this morning, my perfectly imperfect workout, and you can look for that video, but there's part of it, because I get compliments on my arms. Well, they don't just happen. I didn't just wake up like that. It's that you have to practice. And then when I'm helping people, I help them understand you have to practice. Everybody wants everything to come right now. They want the perfect person right now. They want the perfect thing right now, but you have to practice getting that thing. And I have to practice getting that thing. So I'm doing my perfectly imperfect workout even this morning. And I'm doing the part where you're lifting yourself up and then my arm's reaching over my head and I'm reaching for the sky, And it's cool that I can hold myself up and reach for the sky, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally, is that I just keep doing that thing. And I encourage you to keep doing that thing. Some of you are almost there, being able to get out. And I do I wish you well, and I hope you'll be well when you get out. And I just want you to go out with another set of consciousness. If I can do anything to help with that, then I hope that I've helped you be able to better your consciousness, you're paying attention to what you're putting in your mind, your body, and your soul, rather than just going off the convenience of settling. That you really pay attention to this and that you embody it, and because the bottom line is love. And if you can come out of this with love, self-love, like Will Smith said, self-love is self-discipline. So it's like, what are you going to let in your body? What are you going to let in your mind? What are you going to let in your soul? How are you going to feed those things? I watch something every day that's motivating and educating, and sometimes I watch, and then I get the fun stuff to watch, and then I get the other stuff that I'm just curious about, because I get curious about the crime dramas and stuff like that. But I have to, have a balance. It's all about balance always. So I hope that this has been able to help you, and that you're able to establish some kind of balance in your life, and that this has helped you get clear on some of your goals and the need for setting them, and the need to practice once you do set them. I did do one thing today, about once every month there's my big goal, from my kitty cat to my tiger goal, and so I do that like one time a month, and so anyway, I hope this has been able to help you some. And then those other goals I just keep in consciousness daily that are something that I have definite control over, so I keep those, because I'm going to come out of this a bigger badass than I was before I went in. How about you? With that being said, I wish you much peace, love, and joy. And I look forward to connecting with you again next week. Thank you so much. Bye.